God damn, that was loud. It was so much louder than I expected it to be. Oh, it was like thump in my headphones. Wow. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to OTC.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah, looks like everything's working upon the start of the broadcast. We'll see how long that lasts. I went through with a fine-tooth comb through our streaming. If everything is working the way we should be live on our Twitch, on our Facebook, and on the YouTube page for OTC Industry. So cool. Welcome.
Good.
Glad you could be here. You too, Chris. I'm glad you could be here too, Chris.
Oh, thanks. Hey, how come we have an intro from an 80s Don't Do Drugs ad now?
Because it sounds good.
Okay. I'm not hating on it. I was just wondering.
I kind of love it. I do.
It makes me feel like you'll hear, and now back to a very special Transformers Robots in Disguise.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, welcome back to the Bill and Chris Show, guys. Today we're talking about lame ducks. That's what it sounds like to me.
Laying ducks?
Lame ducks on OTC today. No, yeah, kind of just odds and ends on the show today. Don't really have a whole lot of particulars. I know Chris and I, or at least I know I've watched a couple things since we recorded the other day, and the regular OTC episode will be out tomorrow. So all kinds of stuff, kind of in there. Obviously, we can't do the show without talking about the election just briefly. It's not technically over.
No.
But we're in a much better place than we were when we broadcast last Thursday. Right? No, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
So
sadly.
But yeah, no, we're hopefully in a better place for those of you from outside of the US.
I mean, in all honesty, we know who won.
Yes. We know who is projected to win.
No, we know who won. It's pretty much set. There's no path to victory for the incumbent president, and dude just needs to kind of give it up instead of this coup that he's half-assedly threatening. He needs to just stop and be like, you know what? I'm an adult. I guess I'll.
Well, he can't stop. It's too dangerous. He's got to slow down first.
Can't stop, won't stop.
One of the things I was going to say is that he can't stop because he owes an awful lot of money to an awful lot of places. So he is keeping this going by continuously asking for donations from his supporters and from his crew or whatever, to the point of sending out 8 or 9 emails a day. Basically, not even begging for money at this point, threatening people.
Oh, it is a threat. It is. Yeah. It is. We need to win this war on what? War on being a fucking orange loser?
No,
fuck you.
No, it's the war on we spent too much money on the campaign and I don't have the money to pay for it.
Yeah, see, I'm going to take that one step further and say I'm going to misappropriate campaign funds to pay off personal debt.
Yeah, because it all comes from the same place. It all comes from the same place. It does.
Oh my God. Really? It's going to be sad and terrifying if he tries a coup. He's already laying the groundwork for it. And it really is. It's going to be an attempted takeover of the government.
Yep. He's going to start his own White House down there in Mar-a-Lago.
That's fine. We can build a channel.
We could just put we would have to give up Disney.
No, just around Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago, which is what, Palm Springs? Palm Beach?
I don't know. But we could do a 1/4-mile channel moat type thing. And like his idea, we can fill it with snakes and alligators.
Yes.
And we could put a McDonald's on there and he could have his illegal immigrants working there like he has at all of his hotels, because it's fine when he profits from it, but not when they have a cost of living they need to.
Oh, it's total details, man.
Feed their family.
All in the details. All in the details. But yeah.
So glad all this hypocrisy is going to be gone.
Well, we'll see, man. We talked about it a little bit on Mondays. Most of you guys probably haven't heard the show yet from Monday. Or no, actually, most of you probably have. considering the majority of the listeners for this we get on Patreon. But you know, it's possible. You know, like how do I want to phrase it?
I don't know.
Because you don't know where I'm going with it.
No,
I was gonna say
don't.
no. I am like cautiously optimistic at this point of like it's gonna take time and it's gonna take a while, and there's a lot of people in this country that are very angry. They don't, and the thing is, a lot of them I think don't even know why they don't know why they're angry. They just
the base reaction is they're angry their guy lost because they thought he was right.
Right. And
I get that.
And the thing too is we mentioned it the other day, and I know we're kind of repeating ourselves, and I'm hoping to God in a couple of weeks we can get all past this and we don't have to keep bringing it up. But like there's nothing he can do. Like he didn't. It's not like he lost. It's not like the comparison you see is they go back to the 2000 election with Bush and Gore, how they had to go down and they had to break down Florida. Florida was the deciding state in that election. So therefore, that was what they had to focus on. Trump lost by a good chunk of electoral votes. John Voight?
Sure. Yeah, John Voight.
He lost by a good amount of them in multiple different states. So if he wants to fight the Pennsylvania count, well, that's fine. You also lost Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, and Georgia.
Wisconsin and Georgia.
So it's like the idea, and I was watching this last night I took a bullet and watched a little bit of Fox News last night, only because I wanted to see what the spin on the other side was. And even Fox News
if you
is like, you
really
gotta give it up.
If you really feel the need to watch Fox News, I can just film myself taking a dump from inside the bowl.
I didn't feel the need to. It wasn't the need to. It was more the want. I want to see what the other side. But even Fox News is very much just like, this is over. We have to figure out a way to move on. And,
they have to maintain a little bit of journalistic integrity they can move forward.
Yeah, and the thing too with Fox News you find is that it's not so much their like daily news reporters that are horribly corrupt. It's their guys that host their show. It's their guys that host their shows. Your Tucker Carlson and his haircut, and like that other chick with the face, and the guy with the hands. I can't think of what any of their names is, but you probably know exactly who I'm talking. You know exactly who I'm talking about with those expressions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. Looking forward to life without that. COVID sucks still. We're all still, the U.S. is in the worst it's been, but yet
we hit a record yesterday.
We hit Chris, we literally hit a record every single day.
Yeah, but this record was fantastic. 200,000 in a day.
Oh man, I actually didn't see that.
Yeah. Don't you wish I didn't tell you?
Doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't.
Doesn't matter. And one thing I am going to love is when Biden starts in January, all these people are going to jump all over and be like, I thought you were going to fix COVID. Because he's like, well, you know, it's not an overnight fix. So,
well, to those people you say, I thought it was going to disappear in November.
Yeah. Well, I like all the people
after the election.
The conspiracy theory that Pfizer announced that their vaccine was almost ready 2 days after the election.
Yeah.
And then all the Republicans like, you couldn't announce this 3 or 4 days ago. And they were like, no, because it wasn't ready 3 or 4 days ago.
I don't think that would have helped, because then the news would have covered the fact that they were part of Operation Warp Speed. And they took no government money, and it was on their own dime that they are trying to find a vaccine. Also, Trump said it would be a cure, not a vaccine.
Yes.
So
those are the same thing, though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, Chris, let's get away from this. Let's talk about some stuff that's actually in our wheelhouse. All right, here's what we're going to do. I have not started the new season of The Mandalorian yet.
Oh.
I have not. We're 2 episodes in, with a third coming on Friday. Tell me and also the listeners out there, how is the season started so far?
It's started by laying the groundwork for a lot of interesting things to come.
Okay.
I can't say much without giving too many things away. We visit one planet that we've been to and a couple that we haven't. And Yeah, I am all in for all of this. I have no issues with anything that has happened, regardless of what the internet has to say about Baby Yoda's behavior. Because I feel like it's a long haul, wait and see what happens. With all of it, you can't judge a show based on, a 10-second or even a 2-second shot,
Okay.
And once you see the episodes, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm very interested to see how they're going to work in that wrestler lady whose name I can't remember.
Sasha Banks.
Yes.
She's
very curious to see how she is.
She's Snoop Dogg's niece, if you didn't know.
Really?
Yeah. She is.
Huh. Well, she's supposed to be on
she's from Boston.
This week's episode.
Yeah, she's from Boston, so.
Oh, good. Good. She's supposed to debut on this week's episode. Which
have we seen Gina Carano again yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, nope. No. I know I saw her in the preview, so we know she's going to be back.
I think she shows up in the next episode. I was looking at the IMDb stuff to see if there's going to be any surprises that have maybe leaked out for who's going to be in what episode, and no surprises yet.
All right.
Which is good. It looks fantastic. I wouldn't say it expands the world a whole lot, but I really like this away from the main storyline stuff.
Okay.
So
I'm purposely waiting. I didn't want to get into the waiting for episodes.
Oh, I think that's part of the fun with this, because you get to really think about it and, wonder where is it going to go.
Yeah. Oh no. And I get that. But I at least want to have like 2 or 3 backed up. So hopefully we'll watch some probably this weekend. I love the first season of it. So
yeah, the first episode is kind of a standalone because it doesn't connect to anything just yet. But the second episode, I think, is going to definitely connects to the third. So I think that's a good way to go. I can't see the fourth episode connecting to the second or third.
Right.
In the main storyline that they're pursuing right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm all in. It's torture waiting for the girls to be done with school and my wife to be done at work, and then we sit down at dinner and we watch it, and it's like, come on, I could have watched this 4 times already today. But we're all real good and we all wait.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Hear it.
Especially my wife. She is way more into it than me, and I'm into it. So that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, we all know you're a Star Wars guy. There's no question there.
Yeah, and there's so many little things like with the sequel trilogy, it was fine. It was Star Wars. It was okay. But the people that know Star Wars and they are fans and they know what fans like and want to see. Did you just throw my iPad out? Where is it? What are you doing?
Can the dog eat her food in here?
Oh yeah, you can bring the dog's food in here. Did you get my iPad like I asked?
No.
All right. So here's the deal. We have 2 dogs.
Yes, you
let
do.
me finish my other thought. Dave Filoni and what's his name? The director of Elf and Iron Man. Yeah, Jon Favreau. They know Star Wars like I know Star Wars. Probably, obviously, they know it more because they have like inside information. But they know it, and they throw in stuff that is just like, oh yeah, that's good. I remember that from that. And then sometimes it takes a couple days, and you're like, what was? Oh, deep cut, because they'll pull from the original Marvel comics. They pull from all over the place. This season so far, we've seen stuff pulled from Phantom Menace, A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Knights of the Old Republic. And that's just the first episode. Really, really fun stuff. So, the deal with my dog is when we give him cans of wet food mixed in with their dry food, one of the dogs, the younger one who is bigger, will eat all of the food and box out the smaller, older dog. She's not that much smaller, just like 10 pounds. So, what we get is, let me see. Can you see her there? Where's the?
That looks like your messy desk. And that looks like your balls.
Oh, let me see. Let me try.
What is happening, dude?
I don't know. Come on, camera.
Oh, Jesus.
Here's my dog.
It's a bad found footage movie.
Is this my dog? Here's my dog.
Okay, I see the dog, sort of. There.
Yes.
All right, there. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'm trying to do this on the camera and it's backwards and shit. So she has to come in here to eat her food away from the other dog.
Okay.
So she can actually eat in peace. Hold on, I'm fixing my camera.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
funny.
fine. Mark Wahlberg doesn't have to fight with anyone. Mark Wahlberg doesn't even usually eat his food half the time. Like we give him, it's
Really?
like it's the weirdest thing. Like we'll feed him in the morning when Mel gets up, and he won't eat his food sometimes until dinner time, and then sometimes he just won't eat.
Huh.
He just won't eat, and he's like fine. It's not like he's sick or anything.
Right.
And it's like it's good food. We buy good food. It's not.
Yeah,
like,
we do too. It's well, maybe he's just like I'm big enough. I don't need to get bigger.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Right. Where is Bark Wahlberg? Bark, come here. Bark, come here.
So it's a competition between the two dogs. They don't hate each other or anything, but Hera definitely will move out of the way. Yeah.
She gets bullied.
But when they get outside, all bets are off. When they're running around in the yard, Hera is a monster chasing her all the time, and Hera is way faster. So they do the chase around the tree like the cartoons where they go 1, 2, 3 times around the tree, and then one of the dogs will turn and run the opposite way. And it'll be like, oh, surprise, Scooby-Doo. And it's just fun to watch them. They run from one corner of the yard to the other. It sounds like a dozen horses running. It's nice.
Cool.
So, yeah, watch The Mandalorian. It's actually being done by people who are not giving out surface level fan service.
All right.
Unlike Rise of Skywalker, which
I still haven't watched.
It's fine for one watch, but don't think about it.
I mean, I don't even think I finished the second one in that trilogy yet.
I
loved the first one, and I don't care.
I really liked Last Jedi for what it tried to do and the direction it tried to take everything in. And then they brought Abrams in, and he's very safe as far as the studio goes. He's a safe choice. He'll make something that is very palatable to mass markets. He won't take a chance. And which is probably why I thought Super 8 was a really boring piece of crap.
I don't remember Super 8. I remember watching it and liking it, but like literally have no recollection what it was about or anything at this point.
I remember watching it, and about halfway through, I'm like, why doesn't he just go to Spielberg's house and jerk him off?
I mean, maybe because he said no.
Maybe.
Hey, can I come to your place, Steve? He's like, no, I don't want you anywhere near my house. Come on, guy.
He's Canadian?
Sure. I don't know. We talked about What We Do in the Shadows last week, which I now rewatched all of season 1 again.
Yep.
It's so good.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. It really is. It's so good.
I've been telling you that.
You have. And I waited to watch it. And because I love the movie. There no point was I like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I just hadn't gotten to it yet.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's real good. It's so funny how much I hated Guillermo at the beginning. And then I was like, oh wait, Guillermo rules.
Right. They did a great job with his character.
We had to pick up our own laundry. Just standing there holding the steak covered in blood.
Nandor is so funny.
Oh,
he's so oblivious.
No idea. I love when he shows up for the citizenship test wearing his Michael Jordan USA basketball jersey, over his suit.
Yeah.
It's real good. The writers on it are real good.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of what else is going on in terms of I haven't gotten a chance to watch. I watched a couple movies, but I haven't really. We watched another episode of The Vow last night, which we were getting back into because we're trying to now break ourselves out of that 24/7 news cycle. that
Right.
we've been
So
in.
you went with something happier? I
No,
guess?
but something different. Not
Right.
necessarily
I know.
happier,
I'm
but
joking.
different. We're only 2 episodes. Have you watched the whole thing yet?
No.
Okay, so we're
No.
2 episodes into it. It's about that Nexium ESP
Yeah, I watched a pretty in-depth documentary about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking done. Once they got to it was his initials inside the branding they did.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
no, fuck them.
So the first episode of it, and I probably talked about it when we watched it a while back. The first episode is very much kind of like a laying out of everything and just giving you enough of an idea of how weird and creepy it's going on, and like, you know, there's a bunch of actresses involved, and then the guy that wrote, was it Eat This Not, I don't even know, he made some food documentary or something and thought very highly of himself. And then the girl that played Baru in the Phantom Menace gets pulled into it. She ends up marrying that screenwriter documentary guy. So that first episode kind of lays out all the basics. And it's funny because I don't really know exactly what this cult is supposed to be doing for people, or like what the
Right.
So I'm watching it and I'm like, what is the pull? Why are people interested in being part of this? Like, why are they drawn to it? And I asked Mel, and she's like, it's that we can make you a better you. And that's really it. It's like making you the best person that you can be. And it preys on people that feel, you know, that are insecure about like who they are, what they do, how they can excel at what they do. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me. So your boy documentary guy becomes really good friends with the guy that heads it up, who ends up being the cult leader, if you will. He's supposedly like got the highest IQ in the world. He's a scientist and a globalist and an ist and this and that and this and this, and has something to do with a little bit of everything. But like, there's no real explanation as to who or what he does or kind of where he came from or like any of that stuff. Just that, oh, he's a great listener. You know, Keith is a great listener. Keith Rainier is the guy's name.
Yes.
You know,
yes, I remember now.
He's got this and that and this and that. And you're like, oh, okay. So the second episode, they dive into Bonnie, whatever her name is, the one that played Baru. And how she's working in this thing, and she's realizing, you know, she's working like 20 hours a day. She's getting less than 2 hours of sleep a night. She's not getting paid for anything. She's just like giving her time. And then she's kind of like beginning to question why she's giving her time and what exactly is going on. And like, it's then you kind of you're like, oh, okay. And then she ends up marrying that guy's name's Mark. I don't remember what his last name is, but he directed.
I'll look him up.
He directed some documentary that was like, salt, fat, I don't know. Yeah, look it up.
Okay, hold on. I'll get it.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you. So she starts to question what's going on, and she's like, I don't know about this. And she's talking to him, and she's like, listen, I understand that, you know, you're there, you're doing your things, but I just don't think I can be part of it anymore. And if you don't want to discuss it, you know, there's maybe another thing we have. So then she starts talking to a couple people that had left. And unlike Scientology, this seems like the type of thing where people leave and they just leave. They're not like hunted down after. And again, I'm only 2 episodes.
Yeah, because they don't have the money to really do what Scientology
right.
does.
So I'm only 2 episodes in, so I don't know how much more that's going to get, but they like just kind of leave. And so she starts talking to some people that have left and are like, oh, did you hear about this group within the group? Which are basically like, so that girl that was on Smallville is like the head of it. And like, that's so it ends with them talking about this group and how they have, you know, the women in this group have, you know, pledged themselves to this Keith guy. And this guy's like some fucking like tool. Like, he's not even like, he's got like a bad haircut and he's got like glasses, and they go and play all night volleyball. They like have like a gym they go to and they play volleyball at like 2:00 in the morning. And that's like the time that they all spend together. And it's like, what, fucking nerd. Like, what is going on here? And then
that seems like real, like surface level. Oh no, this is all we do. And then you introduce the ideas slowly.
Exactly. So that Sarah, there's this actress named Sarah that's another one of like the main people in it, and she's this guy Mark's like best friend. And so Mark starts to then learn about what's going on kind of through these things, and then eventually reconnects with Bonnie and is like, hey, I'm ready to listen now. There's some things that aren't adding up to me. I've heard about this secret group that no one's supposed to talk about. let's talk about these things. So they start to talk it out, and he realizes, okay, so there's something not right, but he doesn't know what this guy Keith's involvement is, or like what exactly it entails, or any of that stuff. So he's been documenting as a documentary filmmaker this guy Keith Raniere for the last like 10 years or something like that. But there's nothing ever goes anywhere. So he just films the guy and records their conversations just like all the time, with no, like, he's thinking it's going to be like a stepping stool for him to make another documentary and then like be like out there again. But none of that ever comes to fruition. And so he starts to question this Keith guy, and he's recorded everything. And like, he says that too. He's like, I record every phone conversation I have. I record everything. And so he's talking to this Keith guy, and this Keith guy's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I'll have to look into this. He's like, I've never heard of this group. He's like, they said it was secretive. What is the deal with it? And he's like, I don't know, but I feel. So this Mark guy says to me, he's like, I feel like you're involved in this though. Like, this is like, I gather the feeling that this is your thing. And so he's like, well, what makes you think that? And he's like, it's just a feeling I get. He's like, well, it's not my thing. I don't know what's going on. So then he decides he's got to leave. He's like, all right, I know this guy's lying to me. I got to leave. So he calls that Sarah chick, and he's like, hey, listen, I wanted to talk to you. He's like, I'm leaving. I'm worried about you. I'm worried about what's going on in this group. And he's like, have you heard of this group? And she just kind of like sidesteps the question. And he's like, all right, well, let me rephrase this. Have you been asked to be a part of this group? And she goes, well, if it's a secret thing, I couldn't talk about it even if I had. And this dude Mark goes, oh, so you have. And she says nothing. And he goes, I'll take your silence as an admission of being part of it. And she goes, listen, are you recording this conversation? And he goes, yeah, I record everything. And she's like, listen, I don't feel right talking about this while you're recording. And so him being a friend to her turns off the recorder, and then we go to a cut interview, an interview with him. And he says, well, after I shut off the recorder, Sarah told me that she'd been part of this and blah, 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 blah. And that Keith was behind it, and she pledged herself to him, and she had been branded. And then they show a still picture of the brand. And that's the end of the second episode.
Wow.
And I was just like, oh shit, I am on board.
Huh.
Oh, Nelson and our. I'm sorry, I'm not getting that. Usually, I have with the new setup we're doing. I should be getting chat from all of the places, but I'm not getting it. So, but Nelson on our Twitch said that Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat was the documentary that guy made. Let me close this.
Okay, because I found who she's married to. And I don't, that doesn't come up as either cinematographer, maybe producer. No. Director. No. I get what the blank do we know? What the bleep down the rabbit hole?
Yes, that's him. That's him.
Yeah, but
Mark.
I don't see that one on here unless he was in a different department.
I don't know. But it doesn't matter anyway.
I have heard of the one you're talking about, though.
Yeah, well, Nelson brought that up in the Twitch room. I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier, Nelson. Like, I'm not getting the. I should like this. We've been using this program Mob Crush to broadcast to all our platforms, and it gives a thing that's a unified chat that should give me the chat from all three places, but it's giving me it's giving me nothing. So apologies if you brought something up in the chat room and I didn't catch it.
I can't remember where or what the documentary was that I watched. But it was like a year ago.
I watched something on this too, and it's the same thing. I couldn't remember what it was either, Chris. Like, I remembered that Sarah chick, I remembered her, and I remembered the other like a couple of the other characters, but I couldn't remember where I had seen it. So I'm with you there, man. I don't know.
It could have been in Cults and Extreme Belief, a show on A&E, but that was only one episode.
I don't know. Maybe it feels.
So
maybe it just felt like it was longer because it gets real heavy, apparently.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and it was like movie length, and I don't know, but I know it wasn't like 2 months ago or anything.
Yeah, far enough back. I don't know. But yeah, so we're 2 episodes into that, The Vow on HBO. Looking forward to kind of trying to kill that off in the next. I think it's 6 episodes, so I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it.
Who was the girl from Supernatural that did all that stupid shit in there?
Alice something. Hang on. Not Supernatural, Smallville.
Oh, right.
Hang on, I'll find it. But she ended up being like, she's in jail now, isn't she? Allison Mack.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, she
Okay, I'm gonna backtrack it through through her IMDb page because she would have showed up as Self
right. She
in
got
that documentary.
13 credits as Self. But she's not listed. She's not listed on the Vow. Like if you go onto her thing, she's not listed under Self.
I mean, do you have to be credited if you're there?
Maybe it's under. Oh, maybe what? There's one here called "Seduced" inside the Nexium Cult TV miniseries. The Vow, Cults and Extreme Belief. I bet that's what we're thinking of, because that's the only other one here. But then there's this other one, "Seduced" inside the Nexium Cult. Where is this available? Stars. That's on Stars.
Yeah, that might have been what I saw. Because that seems to be about. Yeah,
that's new. That's this year. 2020.
No, the Cults and Extreme Belief one. That might have been what it was.
Makes sense.
But yeah, it's crazy. That's why I haven't wanted to watch any more of it because I got as much information, and I'm like,
Scooter,
nope, I'm good.
Scooter in the chat says there's been also at least 3 in-depth podcasts about it too.
Yeah.
So I know I heard about it on. I listened to a podcast from called Cults, and it was on what was the network that it was on? It's the one that does like all the like conspiracy shows and what the hell is the name of that network? They do really good podcasts. Shit.
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea.
You wouldn't know unless you had heard it. But hang on.
Right.
See, now I hate when I can't remember these things. Cults podcast. It's just, man, I wish I could remember these things. Here we go. Parcast. Parcast. They do a show. They have a show in there called Cults, and it's real good. It's all scripted and stuff, so it's not like a free flowing conversation. But they do a lot of really good shows on Parcast.
You know what? I also could have watched this. The Lost Women of however you say that, Nexium. Yeah, whatever. They can fuck themselves.
Wow,
it was a 2-hour special on I don't know where. But the title would have caught my attention. Because it's like Lost Women. How do you lose women? And what the fuck is that word?
Right. On Parcast, I highly recommend their show, The Dark Side of. It's basically there's like the whole first season, there's Dark Side of Hollywood, and they go into like all the dark side of stuff. Like each episode's a story. So it's like an episode on like Shirley Temple and like Marilyn Monroe, and then the second season is all music. And then they do one that's the Dark Side of Holidays. Good. Parcast does really good stuff. Really good stuff. Very academic though. It's not. Why is it so dark in here? Hang on.
Because it's got real cloudy out.
I got to change the settings on my camera. Sorry, guys. What did I just do? I have it. Let me just put it on the intelligent camera thing. There we go. That'll be better. Hopefully that'll be better.
All right.
There it is. It's a little lighter. I still don't know if I did it right. What have you caught? Have you caught anything in the last couple days that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet?
Let me see. Let me get my list here. List 2020. I watched Strange Behavior in Amsterdam.
Yep, we'll talk a little bit about them on the show this week.
Yeah, definitely did that. Going back, we rewatched Infinity War because why not? I caught the New Mutants. and it was fine. It was probably one of the, I don't know, a lot of people hate it. I didn't hate it that much.
Okay.
I like the people in it. I tried watching what I thought was an old favorite of mine, but it is just terrible. Metal Storm: The Destruction of Jared Sin. Because why not? I mean, it's a terrible Mad Max Star Wars ripoff, so why not? The best thing about that movie is one of the bad guys is a human being, who was born with no forearm. It was like elbow, a little bit of arm, and then nothing. So they have this extending claw that flips out when the arm extends. The claw flips out, like it lays flat on either side, so it does like a boom to a claw, and then it spits acid on the people, and that was pretty neat looking. Anytime you use an amputee or somebody that wasn't born with a limb to give someone a less human appearance, it really works in horror movies and sci-fi. And I know that there are a bunch of people too that do the work that are like, this is so much fun. You know, they, instead of having a disability, it's an advantage.
They should
for
have called
them.
this movie Jared Deformed.
Huh?
That
Are you
Simpsons
just talking
joke?
about your own stuff now?
No, that Simpsons joke where it's like, they should have called this book Johnny Deformed
Oh,
instead of Johnny Tremaine.
yeah. And then I watched the 1987 Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks classic Dragnet, because I just wanted something funny. And that is still funny. It's a bit inappropriate at times, given, you know, what is tolerable now, but that's fine because I was watching it by myself and I can recognize it. But then I watched the 2-hour and 8-minute documentary, Cleaning Up the Town, the Ghostbusters documentary.
Oh, who made that?
I don't know. I have no idea. And I have to say, I really like the structure of it. There was information that I didn't know. There was a lot of pre-production artwork and photographs and all that they shared that was really nice to see. And they got as many people as possible to come and talk about it. The only noticeably missing people from it were Rick Moranis, and that's about it.
Yeah. So it looks like it was directed by a gentleman named Anthony Bueno. He has 2 documentaries, Cleaning Up the Town, Remembering Ghostbusters, and then he has one in post-production right now, Too Hot to Handle, Remembering Ghostbusters 2.
Good.
He also worked as an editor on Beware the Moon, Remembering an American Werewolf in London. And then a few other random things in here that I don't recognize. A couple shorts.
They structured the documentary to follow the process of making a movie,
Okay.
which really worked well. It started with Dan Aykroyd talking about his grandfather and how he was a psychic investigator, and just there was a link on Facebook, and whoa, what happened to my voice there? And I clicked the link and it was us because somebody commented on it, and I'm like, what am I looking at? Oh shit, myself.
I just went into that vortex.
Yeah, I got confused for a minute. So Aykroyd found a chest with a whole bunch of notes that were written to people, and he's like, it would be great if we could carry this on and do something with, you know, my grandfather's, you know, work and what he's done and his passion. And that's kind of how it started. The original idea for Ghostbusters was for it to take place in 2012 on a different planet, I believe, and it was a massive sci-fi comedy film. And Ivan Reitman basically stepped in and said, all right, listen, no, this is too much. Let's keep it on Earth. Let's keep it in New York City. and then it was really interesting how all of the stuff just falls into place. They went to Nantucket, so Ghostbusters was written in Massachusetts, which is very nice.
Keep talking. I'm listening to you.
And they talk to people as they go along. They talk to obviously Aykroyd at first, and Harold Ramis is in it, and what's his name, the director, Ivan Reitman. So this is obviously before Harold Ramis died. They filmed his parts, obviously, because that's a stupid sentence. And they all had a lot of stuff to say about how they would work in Aykroyd's basement, which was all camouflaged, and they would write for 12 hours a day. It took like a week to write the first script, and the original idea was Belushi, Aykroyd, and Eddie Murphy. And then when Belushi died, it ended up being, okay, well, it has to be Bill Murray then. And then Ivan Reitman said, well, let's bring in Harold Ramis to do some writing on the script. And then he became Egon. And so the part, once Bill Murray came into the whole thing, the part of Winston, who was supposed to be ex-military, and their head of security, ended up being the everyman that kind of, allows us to see, even though we already do believe, because we've seen the library ghost, he was supposed to be introduced much earlier. And that's fine. But Winston, Ernie Hudson, was very disappointed when he agreed to do the movie, and he had a whole lot of scenes. Like I was introduced on like page 25. Now I'm introduced on page 69. And he was upset about that, but he's come to terms with it. But I think this is the most surprising part of the whole thing was they got the two psychic people that were doing the testing, the man and the woman. And they talked to them. They talked to the librarian, but the kid that was doing the testing, he just turned to somebody and asked for some gum, and he was just chewing gum while they were filming because they were all pretty relaxed. The girl came in and she said, "All right, do I need hair and makeup or costume?" And they looked at her and they're like, "No, you're fine." She showed up to set looking like that. That's fascinating. So he said he would pinch himself every time he was supposed to be shocked to give himself some kind of reaction. And one time for the really big one, right before he has the one that makes him quit, he shook and the gum fell out of his mouth. We all remember that.
Oh yeah.
That was a total accident. Everybody behind the camera lost their shit. They were laughing, crying. And he's like, I had a bruise the shape of Africa 6 inches wide on my leg because I just kept pinching, thinking, don't fuck up this take. And that's what they put in the movie. And honestly, that's a key part to the very beginning of it.
Oh yeah, because it shows off Murray's character.
Yeah, but it's one of the funniest. Like it's like, okay, I get it now. Definitely, we got a comedy because it was so unexpected.
Yeah,
but there's little things like that as the whole thing goes on. I mean, they even talk to the kid in the crowd that's wearing the suit with the red hair that's taller than everybody else at the end. Mm-hmm. They get him. Everybody talks, which was nice. The mayor had some brilliant insights into his character that just made it way better than it was written. I was very impressed. It kept my attention for a movie that I saw 12 times in the theater and probably twice a year every year after that. I learned stuff. I was impressed by stuff. And the most satisfying part of the whole thing was as people are coming up, I'm looking up their IMDb to see other stuff they've worked on. And there's this one woman, she's not credited on this movie at all, but there are photographs of her in the female demon dog in the temple puppeteering it. And then it gets to the end of the movie, and at the wrap party, one of the producers comes through and he apologizes to everyone because the studio only allowed them so many names in the credits. And I'm like, okay, well, that explains that part. And he took out a personal expense. He took out like a double page or full page ad in Variety thanking the 139 other people that didn't get in the credits. And he personally apologized to every one of them. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That wraps up the whole thing. That it from conception to making amends to the people that didn't get enough credit. It was very interesting. Highly recommend. And it's Ghostbusters. So obviously this is an A documentary for me.
Oh, well, there you go.
I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Sounds good to me. I'll have to check it out.
I haven't watched anything else.
All right. Well, I watched earlier today, actually, this. Hopefully you guys see if that'll.
Oh, I knew it was Blood Vessel before it even focused. I could tell by the colors.
So I watched Blood Vessel on the Shudder.
I've been wanting to watch it. Now this will determine.
Yeah, they only just put it up. So it's interesting because let me just get all the information for it up here in front of me. I'm a sucker for obviously Nazi exploitation stuff and anything that's kind of like in that wheelhouse. And this was something new, and I hadn't actually heard of it before it was posted there. I guess it was done 29. It says 2019. I know it was just added to Shudder, directed by Justin Dix, who also did. He was a producer on Crawl Space. He's also did some work on some of the prequels. It looks like. So let's go in here. So as a producer, he worked on ABC's Death 2.5. Oh, he did one of those he did one of the M ones.
Okay.
Producer on Crawl Space. He's only got 3 director credits. Blood Vessel. He directed Crawl Space also, which was 2012. But he was in the art department on where he's got the additional crew. Stunts, nope. Art director. So he's got
special effects.
Special effects. Okay, there it is. On the prequel. So I don't know exactly what he did on those.
Nice.
But yeah, so pedigree. Good pedigree.
Oh, droid unit technician.
Droid unit technician. So Blood Vessel, starring Nathan Phillips, Alyssa Sutherland, Robert Taylor, Christopher Kirby, and a few others, is basically it's the end of World War II. The Nazis have lost the war, and at the end of the war, they put up this text scroll, not a scroll, but like text on the screen that basically is like they knew they were losing, and they just started sinking ships with the U-boats, which is a thing that was done. You know, hospital ships, cruise ships, you name it. The Nazis started sinking it.
Yep, you scuttle them.
Yep. So we've got a lifeboat with, a handful of people. Was it 7 people or so in the middle of the North Atlantic, just basically floating away, waiting to die.
Nazis.
No. These are English. A mixture.
Oh, okay.
Got a couple English guys, an English woman. You got an Australian, you got a Russian, you got an American guy. Little bit of everything.
This is set in the 40s, in 45.
This is set at the end of the war, so like late 40. Yeah, I would say late tail end of 1945.
Because I wasn't getting that from the trailer. I was thinking, this thing's been floating around since the war.
No.
Okay, no, that's good to know.
So they're in the middle of the ocean, and then they hear something that sounds weird, and they're like, "Wake up! What is that?" And then they do the lightning. There's lightning in the background, and you see the ship, the outline of the ship heading towards them with the lightning behind it. It's cool little effect. Look good.
Yep.
So they got to find a way to get onto the ship. They're like, well, if it's they see the flag and they're like, well, it's a German ship. They're just gonna kill us when we get on board. And they're like, well, we could die up there or we could die down here in the middle of the ocean and starve to death. And he's like, they're all like, I'd rather get it over quickly.
Yeah. Also, there is a chance you could live if you get on that boat.
Very true. So they get on the boat.
If they know the war's over, there's no reason to fight.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
but we all know sometimes when things are over, we don't all give up. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
So they get themselves onto the boat. They're able to the Russian guy shoots a rope, and they're able to grab the rope and climb up and get on board the boat. The captain dies in the process pretty quickly. He falls into the water and gets sucked into the propeller and chopped up.
Yeah.
As has been known to do.
Yeah, it happens.
So they get on the boat, and it's that classic, where is everybody? There's nobody here. What's going on? They find a dead body in one of the rooms, and then they find another dead body in the engine room, and they're like burnt up and they're just like, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? So they find this little girl that's hiding, and she's like scared of them, and like they're trying to help her, and then she bites the girl that's with them because she's scared. They don't know how long she's been there. They don't know what's going on. They don't know where she came from.
Sure.
Always.
Scared.
Yes, scared. Andrew says that they toured cleaning up the town around cinemas in the UK. Going back to cleaning up the town, he says he met the director and his sister in York. They did a Q&A and hung out at the bar afterwards. I think they even signed a poster I bought to help fund the second one. Very cool.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
That's good. It's nice to know that, something you like has good people behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
Unlike Survival of the Film Freaks.
Yeah, I know. That guy's an asshole.
Yeah, Kyle.
Fucking Kyle, man. Anyway,
it's the worst.
Getting back to Blood Vessel. So they're like, what happened here? They're like, what are we gonna do? And they have to shut the engines off because there's no oil or anything in the engines, and they're just running. And he's like, this is gonna explode because we have to shut it down.
Yeah.
So
good idea.
You take the first 40 minutes of this movie, kind of just like them walking around the ship trying to figure out what's going on. They obviously all have different ideas of what they should do, so everybody's got a different point of view, and because you got the Russian guy, and then you got the black guy, and then you got the English guy, and then there's the Australian guy, and there's just and then the woman who's also English, and she was a doctor, I believe. So anyway.
Okay.
So they find the girl, something's weird with her, and she's Romanian, and they're like, she's like, oh, she keeps saying family. And they're like, oh, her family must be on the boat somewhere. So she leads them downstairs, and there's a locked door, and she's family. And then you hear a guy on the other side of the door speaking. I don't know if he was speaking. I think he's speaking Romanian too. And they open the door, and he comes out and sees the girl and freaks out. So that there's something up. There's something up with the girl anyway. I mean, that does, it's not surprising.
Okay.
So things kind of play themselves out from there. And I don't think it's necessarily spoiling anything, but we know that the Germans in real life had a number of weird, occult things they were dealing with, and they were trying to.
They were trying to tap into occult stuff. Yeah.
And this ties into that of them stealing artifacts and things like that. But and I think this is the clincher that if maybe you don't want to watch this movie, if you kind of flown by it and just being like, oh, it's like a neo-Nazi exploitation movie, because it's really actually not at all. In the cargo hole, there's vampires.
Oh, it's not zombies?
No, it's not zombies. It's
awesome. I'm into it.
It's Strigoi specifically.
Strigoi. Very nice.
And it plays itself out in a way that's I wouldn't say unexpected in the way that it goes, but it's quite good. It's put together well. The Strigoi look they look like giant, human hulking bats.
Okay.
So it's like that kind of like in between vampire, human, bat form.
Right, the intimidating, we're gonna fuck you up for
Yes, and they got like mind control things that they can do, and when anyone that gets bit gets put under control, and they kind of go all these ways. So it's not. I don't think it's spoiling it by telling you that, because I feel like, if you look up any reviews or anything, that's going to be given away in it. But it's pretty good. It looks good. It's shot well. I thought the acting was top notch in it. I was a little bummed because it wasn't a Nazi zombie or Nazi exploitation thing, which is what I was expecting. And it takes you in a completely different direction, but it's pretty cool. I love the idea of the ghost ship just like in the ocean and nobody on it like that. Like it hasn't been done well a lot of times.
True.
Like Ghost Ship obviously did not go over so well, and
Triangle did though.
Triangle did, yep. Both versions. Death Ship did not go over necessarily all that well. But no, there's some cool stuff going on, and it's got a cool look to it. It's very dark though, so it's definitely, I mean, it's filmed in the hull of a boat somewhere,
right?
So,
right.
But it's good, man. I would say I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it, and I would give it a B-.
Okay.
So
all right, I'm gonna check it out then, because I thought it was just gonna be like what was that one with the zombies in the snow?
Dead Snow.
Dead Snow.
Yeah.
Yes, it's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So no, it definitely isn't. So it's available in the U.S. at least. I can't speak for the rest of the world. It's exclusively available on Shudder.
Yeah, get your VPNs.
Get your VPNs. Chris, what else you got?
Nothing.
All right, cool. I will fire.
I'll be honest. Bob's Burgers. That's what we've been watching. We watched the new one, and it's a great show.
Yeah, we're still tearing our way through The Simpsons. I've got one other one that I watched though, and of course now, okay, I'm typing in Shudder, and that's not even what I watched it on. So I have praised the Arrow Channel app on, or the Arrow Channel on the Apple TV Plus app. I watched a movie on there the other day from, I think it was released in, it's a Dutch film released 2018 there, or maybe it's Swedish actually. Let me look.
Okay.
Yes, Swedish. Released 2018 there. Released in October here, so it's just been released on the Arrow Channel there. It's called Video Man. VHS collector and a woman obsessed with the 80s, both alcoholics, initiate a romance that helps them battle their personal failures. This is a weird one. This is a weird movie. And I don't know whether it's like that good sort of weird movie or like it's just, hang on, let me get the thing up here.
I like how after you watch it, you're like, I don't know.
It's it's presented in one way. So that's the
Okay.
So that looks like David Lynch or like extraordinary film, okay, absolute must see. We're definitely rolling very heavily to the point now of almost oversaturation of the neo 80s stuff.
Yeah.
I love it, but I'm getting to the point now where it's like, I don't know if I need to hear another synth soundtrack. I don't know whether I need to hear another homage to the VHS age, and that bugs me because I love that stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah, but the same thing happened with the Grindhouse revival.
Exactly. Yeah. So Video Man stars Stefan Sauk, Lena Nielsen, Morgan Ailing, and a number of other Swedish actors that you may recognize from some stuff. Stefan Sauk was in the girl who played with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the original version of it. He plays Ennio Medina, obviously named after Ennio Morricone, and that's a thing in the movie. He basically is a VHS collector and historian that owned what was the biggest and best VHS store in the Netherlands or whatever. But it has since closed, obviously, but now there is a resurgence in VHS collection, and he knows that a large number of these tapes are worth something. And so he's trying to work on opening up a space that's kind of like a museum for this stuff, which is a cool idea. I can get behind that. Yeah. And then we have Simone, who is she's probably in her early 50s, alcoholic, absentee mother who just like is looking for love but doesn't really know where to look. And this again is a weird movie because it bills itself as kind of almost like this horror film, because there's this side story of a VHS collector named Faceless who has been known to kill people when she doesn't get the movie, or people just like pays really good money for highly collectible VHSs, but if they don't come through, like people have been known to disappear. And like, so he's having these, because he's a raging alcoholic too. And like, he's having these dreams, and then Faceless contacts him because he gets this copy of Zombie at Simone's house.
The Zombie?
Yes. Fulci's Zombie.
Okay.
And it's a specific, really rare VHS of it. So when he meets Simone, he goes over there and she's got this box of videos, and he's like, I just want this one. And it's the Zombie cassette. And she's like, well, I want to get rid of the whole box. He's like, I don't want the whole box. I just want this one movie. And she's like, I don't know. He's like, I'll give you $100 for it. And she's like, well, yeah, $100, but you got to take the whole box. And like that movie alone itself is worth like $1,000 or whatever it is. So there's this side piece of that story of him trying to sell that tape to this Faceless chick, but then the tape disappears. He thinks somebody's stolen it. So he's gone. Then there's this whole run of him going into these different, people that he think might've stolen it from him. But it just kind of meanders itself back and forth. And there's like, there's a cool synth soundtrack, but it's like, it's nothing that you haven't heard before. The story, I don't really know what they were trying to do with this, because it was like this weird kind of back and forth, her story, his story, and then how she's torpedoed her relationship with her daughter. And then like, she's like going to get fired from her job, but he's still trying to sell these videos. And I don't know what it was. Like, I don't know what they were trying to do with it. Like, it's definitely got a lot of that neo 80s love, because there's a lot of name drops. They talk about Morricone, they talk about Fulci, and then, him and one of the other VHS nerds going to do an argument over who's better, Fulci or Argento. And like, they do this whole thing. So it's just weird, man. And it's not like artsy weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it had like a real kind of like specific feel to it or something. It just had this like, I don't know what is this an homage? Is this a horror movie? Like, what is this? What are they trying to do? And I've watched it now and I still don't know. I don't know what was real in it. I don't know what wasn't. I think a lot of it was just based on the psychosis of the two of them, because they're both such bad alcoholics. I love the idea of, I don't know. I really don't know. So I don't think I can recommend it. I don't think I can recommend it because I don't necessarily, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, maybe I can, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. It was just a bizarre little movie. It's available on the Arrow video channel, which you can get in the US. You can get on Apple TV Plus. And then I think they have their own app over in the UK.
It looks like too, you can get it through, what's this called? Amazon. I'm looking for that right now, actually.
Is it on Prime or is it?
Yeah, it's like one of those additional.
Oh yeah. Oh, probably. Oh, the Arrow channel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought it was only Apple TV.
I'm gonna. Well, on their website it says Amazon Prime, so I'm gonna see.
I love I think it's great. The Arrow channel is great. I've been watching a bunch of stuff.
I'm gonna look into it.
They're gonna have that El Duce tapes documentary too, I think, starting next week, which I'm really excited to see. But yeah, I would be curious if anyone else is out there has seen this movie. Would love to hear what they think of it.
What's it called again? Video Man?
Video Man. Andrew says, I blind bought this on DVD because it was $1.50. And it had a lovely retro style slipcase. It's definitely like the artwork and the posters and stuff are killer, but it's just a weird movie. I don't know. Oh, see, Andrew says, okay, it's good, not great. That's actually, yeah. I don't even know if I would say it's thoroughly fine. Like, I don't know, Andrew, I know there's a delay, and hopefully Andrew's still listening. Did you find it to be like kind of frustrating because it didn't really know what type of movie it was trying to be? Because that's what I felt. I was frustrated. I didn't know what they were trying to do with it because it's not really a love story, but it is a love story. If that makes any sense. He says he enjoyed it. He wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Okay. That's fair. That's kind of how I feel. I feel he liked it more than me, though. Does that?
That's fair.
Yeah, he says yes. It was a gently weird watch. That's actually really good. Thank you, Andrew. That's a really good explanation of it. So that's the stuff that I've been able to catch since we recorded the main show on Monday. I don't think anything else. Yeah, The Vow, those 2 flicks. We're watching The Simpsons. Back through What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Went and got my flu shot.
Oh, how'd that go?
Well, the older you get, the more it sucks. So I took my kids because they had an appointment. We were going to try to do, this place was doing the pull up, and we come to the car and jab you all at the same time. But we couldn't get an appointment. What's that?
Same needle and everything. They just jab all 4.
Sure. Yeah. It's just like The Hills Have Eyes. Don't stop. But we couldn't. So the girls had to go in. So I went in with them because Ellen was out actually doing a job. So I went, and my appointment was supposed to be for next week. I had to think, when did I do this? But they both get their shots. Nova's terrified of needles, but she did fine. She did great. She was a little tense, but that's it. And they thank us. They tell us, here's the symptoms, whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to get mine next week. And she's like, you want to do it now? I'm like, yeah, because I'm here and I don't want to leave my house again. So I sit down and do it. I don't even feel it. Like it felt like maybe like a scratch from like, a branch, like a tip of a boop, like a little, I didn't feel it at all. So we're done. We go. I'm proud of myself because I've been very productive the last week as opposed to the last 8 months. And I get home and I'm like, all right, there's the soreness in the arm that I sort of enjoy. It's like when you get punched really hard and it's that dull ache a couple days later. I don't know why, but I kind of like that feeling. I'm like a low-level Cenobite.
A low-level Cenobite. All right.
But the next morning I woke up and my shoulders, hips, knees, elbows, everything, all my joints ached. Just like fuck you, go back to bed. I felt so miserable. I had a headache, everything. And I had a phone interview yesterday at 1:30, and my wife was like, she knows that it's first of all, it's a lot of stress because it's the first callback I've got for anything I've put in. So there's a lot riding on this.
Right.
And I'm like, honestly, I have, some of these low-level side effects. I didn't have a fever, didn't have any redness, just all my joints decided to,
ache.
Yeah.
All at once.
So I took some aspirin, I laid back down, I put on Bob's Burgers, which is like white noise music to me, and I just fell asleep. And she I just hit myself in the face. And I'm like that guy in Amsterdam that can't keep his glasses on his face. No, sorry, the other one, Dead Kids.
Yes.
She's like, you want me to wake you up when it's, in like 2 hours? I'm like, yeah, okay. And she wakes me up and she says, all right, you got to get up. You got to take a shower. You got to put on nice clothes. You got this interview. I'm like, no, I don't. It's on the phone. So it doesn't matter. Because I checked. Is it a Zoom call? No. It's not. It's headphones and the most comfortable clothes I could possibly think to wear. I don't have to look good or nothing. Did the interview, was a half hour. I take it as an accomplishment and a good thing when I can tell stories about jobs I've done and people get a laugh out of it when I'm trying to be funny, a genuine laugh. I did that like twice. So I think everything went pretty well. They're going to talk to the hiring manager on Thursday, and then they'll call people back for other interviews.
That sounds
But
promising.
I think she slipped a little when she's like, all right, so we'll call you after Thursday. I'm like, all right.
Oh, let's hope it comes together then.
So, yeah, it would be nice. And it looks like it's 10-hour shifts, 4 in the afternoon to 2 in the morning, which is fine because I'm kind of up then anyway. But I'm hoping that it works out that it's only 4 days a week, because if it's 10-hour days, it's a 40-hour a week job. You know,
That would work out good. Yeah,
that I really do like working 40 hours a week in 4 days.
Yeah,
I really do. I got used to that at the museum, and it's perfect.
well, here's to hoping then.
I know.
Here's to hoping.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I don't think we have anything else this week, right?
Nothing on my desk.
All right, cool. So let's hit this music. Thank you guys very much for joining us here on our live episode this week. If you want to watch the shows live, normally Wednesdays at 2. Available to watch on our Twitch page, which is twitch.tv/outside the cinema, or our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/OTC Industries, or on our Facebook page, just search Outside the Cinema. If you would like to join our Patreon, get audio versions of these shows, you can go to patreon.com/outside the cinema. $5 monthly donation to the Patreon gets you access to our show archives. It gets you the regular episodes on Mondays as opposed to Thursdays, and exclusive audio for these shows, plus our Zoom watch parties, which will be launching very soon. And I'm not doing saying that like Trump, where it's like, very soon, it's coming. It's going to be here. You know?
Yeah, you'll be so happy.
Don't worry. You'll be so ecstatic when it happens. I'm just figuring out the days and stuff, so.
Yeah.
But that's about it for today. I want to thank our live listeners. So I want to thank Andrew for joining in. I want to thank Nelson. I want to thank Broken Scooter. I saw that a couple people jumped on the Facebook too. Thank you guys very much. And that is it for this week. Everyone,